cinematic universe craving a fresh start, James Gunn's Superman doesn't just reboot the iconic character, it redefines what he stands for in a world that's grown cynical. From the very first frame, the film signals a new era. It opens not with triumph but with loss, Superman's first public defeat. It's a bold move, showing us a man of steel who isn't invincible but vulnerable. And that choice immediately grounds the movie in something deeply human. This version of Clark Kent hasn't been in Metropolis very long, but his presence is felt worldwide. The public knows him. The world watches him. And yet, Gunn doesn't fall into the trap of making him a god. Instead, Superman is someone who still questions his place in this chaotic world. Metahumans exist, the Justice Gang is active, and interdimensional threats are real. Still, when war erupts across borders manufactured by forces that crave power and chaos, it's not brute strength that defines him. It's compassion. The emotional core of this film is razor-sharp. The story leans heavily into the battle for Superman's identity. Is he the man his Kryptonian parents wanted him to be, or the person shaped by the kindness of Kansas farmers who taught him to do right because it was right, not because it was written in the stars? This inner conflict explodes when Lex Luthor uncovers a damaged message left by Superman's biological parents. In it, we learn that they did not send him to Earth to protect it but to rule it. That twist lands like a hammer and shakes the very foundation of Superman's moral compass. It's a stunning narrative shift that forces the audience to ask a terrifying question. What if the symbol of hope was never meant to be one? But that's where the brilliance of this movie lies. Because what makes Superman a hero isn't where he comes from, it's how he was raised. On the other side of this ideological war is Lex Luthor, cunning, dangerous, and unrelenting. His manipulation of global politics, his creation of a Superman clone hidden behind the armor of Ultraman, and his drive to provoke war just to eliminate the Man of Steel make him one of the most layered villains we've seen in a superhero film in years. He doesn't just want to beat Superman. He wants to prove the world never needed him in the first place. Ultraman himself is a terrifying reflection of Superman, physically equal but morally hollow. Their confrontation is brutal and brilliantly staged. Gunn pushes the camera in ways that evoke pure comic book energy, 360-degree spins, long unbroken tracking shots, kinetic action that never loses spatial clarity. But the spectacle never outweighs the story. Every punch thrown between Superman and his doppelganger is layered with subtext about identity, about choice, about whether humanity deserves to be saved or ruled. Visually, the film balances the cosmic and the grounded with surprising elegance. The Fortress of Solitude feels ancient and lonely, yet intimately personal. The war scenes, tense, large-scale, and frighteningly plausible, highlight just how frail the world is when manipulated by powerful men. And the tech, especially Superman's healing bots and holographic archives, blends sci-fi wonder with emotional weight. What's truly commendable is how James Gunn captures the heart of Superman without falling into nostalgia traps. There are nods to past interpretations, one that acknowledges the character's past while forging a modern path. And that path is one that embraces sincerity over cynicism. In an age where irony is currency, Superman dares to be earnest. It dares to ask, what if doing good wasn't naive? What if being hopeful was heroic? What if strength wasn't measured in destruction but in restraint? That might be the most radical choice of all. The film doesn't try to be the greatest Superman story ever told. And that's exactly why it works. It lays the foundation. It introduces a conflicted but hopeful hero. And it opens the door for richer, deeper stories to come. Much like Batman Begins carved a path for the Dark Knight, this Superman isn't trying to eclipse legends, it's building the runway for legends to rise. It's not perfect. Some plot elements move quickly. The geopolitics could have been expanded. But the emotional clarity, the sincerity, the craftsmanship, they shine through every frame. This is a Superman for a generation that's forgotten how to hope. And perhaps more importantly, it's a reminder that being good isn't about where you're from, it's about who raised you and what you choose to do with your power. And that might just be the most heroic idea of all.